everyone. I'm Alicia Fiorletta, Content Strategist for Retail TouchPoints, and I have joining me Matthew Lingard of UXC Eclipse. Matthew, thanks so much for taking the time.
Great, thanks Alicia. Good to meet you.
So, I think it's pretty undeniable that the pace of change in technology is unprecedented at this point. There are always new technologies and touch points cropping up. So to start off our conversation, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how technology has really impacted the shopping experience.
Yeah, it's a great question. If we think about the last few years, moving from online shopping to shopping through our mobile devices, through social media impact, and now we're really in that sector of beacon technology, facial recognition, voice recognition. It's really about getting that more personalised understanding about the consumer. And if I walk around the show here, there's so many technologies around that customer analytics, customer engagement, and it's really changing the face in the way that a retailer engages with their consumers and the way that consumers engage with the retailer. And just some examples of that, even just the size of the mobile phone device has got larger, and that allows the consumer not just to search online for products, but actually transact and buy goods, where a couple of years ago they weren't doing that. They were searching and then they were still going to the store, so that changes the retail experience. We've also got the way that retailers are providing in-store media and just collecting so much information now about the consumer themselves. So it's we're creating so many data points. It's changing the way that consumers and retailers are engaging together.
Right. So you touched a little bit on customer preferences and what they're really expecting from brands and retailers now, and you touched on that note of personalization.
Yes.
They want retailers to really feel like their retailers understand them, what their wants and needs are. So let's touch on that for a second, because I think it really speaks to what retailers need to do, right? So, what are you guys seeing from a customer expectation standpoint? Beyond personalization, what do they need? What are they craving from the retail experience?
Well, I think it's just that. They're looking for the retailer to talk to them in that one-on-one relationship. It's not just around, retailers need to think now not just about macro marketing, but very much about micro marketing, and it's about establishing a one-to-one relationship with their consumer, and it's technology that allows them to do that, because now they understand more about not just the broad segments of consumers, but more very, very micro consumer marketing. And what the consumer's expecting is really that personalised experience. When they walk in, is there a promotion that's targeted for me as an individual? If I'm using my phone and I'm opting into a program that the retailer's offering, I expect that I'm going to receive a benefit for opting into those programs, and it's very much about establishing a very equitable relationship between the consumer and the retailer if we're going to get into that personalised one-on-one relationship. So technology's allowing us to create it at both sides of that relationship, and what I would say is it's really important that the relationship is equitable between both sides, because if not, the consumer's not going to opt in to the technology to allow us to collect that information, and therefore we won't get the benefit of the retailer being able to offer a personalised experience back to the consumer. So it's very much about finding that equity between both relationships.
Yeah, absolutely, and that data connection is so important. So once retailers get the buy-in, right, they have the shopper raising their hand saying, send me all this stuff, I'm excited. Then they need to collect that information, aggregate it, get a central view of it, and then analyze it and apply it somehow. So what challenges are retailers facing in that area? Where are they today? And do you have any best practices of how they can tackle those potential challenges?
No, good question. I think, and that is probably the biggest challenge that a retailer's got, because we're now collecting all this information, but this information is being collected from many different touch points.
Right.
And if you want to create that one-on-one relationship and that personalised experience, you've actually got to bring the data together. So it's about data integration, it's about making sure that the right amount of information is available in real time, so that in the store, if we want to offer something to the consumer, we need to be able to capture the information and then create a personalised offer in near real time.
Right.
So to do that, the challenges for retailers is, how do I integrate the data together and make sense of it? How do I then offer a personalised experience to my consumer, but that's got to happen not in hours or days, but in seconds and minutes. Because if not, we've lost the consumer. Consumers have a very short attention span. We're like that. We expect that if we're in the store and you want to talk to me, you're going to talk to me, in that personalised way. So I would say that the challenges are there's so much data being collected. How do we bring that together in near real time, offer the right type of offer to my consumer? Right. And so that's a real challenge because we're generating so much data in different types of data, and so that really is, I think, one of the main challenges is integration in near real time.
Right. Yeah, so making sense of all this information, but also understanding the preferences of different shoppers, right?
Absolutely.
So a millennial who has her smartphone all the time is different than someone who's, a boomer who has a cell phone, but it's always in her purse.
Absolutely.
And it's on silent.
Absolutely.
So, understanding those preferences and tailoring the experience accordingly. So with that, what are some final best practices, words of wisdom for retailers? Because I'm sure depending on the retailer, they're at a different phase in their journey, but based on UXC Eclipse's experience working with retailers, what do you say are the key takeaways that they should apply?
Yeah, look, I think there's a couple of things. I think that the old style, top-down, formal approach of retailing is starting to change. Mm-hmm. I think that the days of just one promotion fits all or one range of assortment fits all is gone.
Right.
So, we're talking about how we can use the information. But to do that, you've really got to start to break down and have more of a decentralized team approach. You've got to put data scientists, data analysts and marketers together in more localized teams.
Right.
Because if not, we're not going to be able to react to the data in time, we're not going to be able to offer that more personalized experience. So we're talking about how the technology, the integration, the processes and the people need to start breaking down into smaller decentralized teams, because that's going to allow us to interface, react and offer the right experience for the consumer.
Right.
And we see that as a trend that's going to happen over the next few years.
Right. Well, Matthew, so I think this sets a really strong precedent for 2016, right? We've been hearing so much about new technologies and how they facilitate this personalized experience, but I feel like retailers have a long journey ahead, right? So thank you so much for taking the time to share your insight, share your best practices and your feedback. It's been a real pleasure getting to chat with you today.
Alicia. Appreciate your time.
And thanks everyone out there for watching.
Thank you.